Well, I'm here with Joe Habib and me being Maestro. This is my partner, Joe Habib, one of the best in the business at these picks. So, look, we want you to do two things, right? A, first and foremost, make sure you enjoy a great day of boxing today. There's a really good set of cards today. And B, make sure you get your pick in with FanDuel. All right, link is in the description box if you so choose to bet. And look, if beating the odds with Beeb doesn't give you the confidence to make that right pick, then I don't quite know what to tell you, because Joe Habib, the Beeb himself, is going to break down the biggest fight of the week. The biggest fight of the week being Martinez-Warrington 2. Straight out of Leeds, England. This is a big rematch. Martinez did the unthinkable. I'm sure a lot of people won some bread with him when he upset the apple cart and took the IBF title at 126 pounds from Kid Galahad in England. So he's returning to England. This time it's not Sheffield, it's Leeds, and he's going to be taking on Josh Warrington in Josh Warrington's hometown of Leeds, England. People are a little bit confused about this one, Joe, because it's two guys that do have losses on their records, two guys that are action fighters and that can be vulnerable at times. I'm going to go right to you, Joe, to break this one down. Beating the odds with Beeb, FanDuel, pick of the week. Joe Habib, let's get your thoughts on this.
Well, when we're looking for a great pick, we're always looking for value. And we definitely have value here. Warrington is a minus 350. Martinez is a plus 260. Now, Martinez has been high as a plus 310, and the odds are starting to go down a little bit. Now, I know people are concerned, right? Because when we say the fight's in a fighter's backyard, it's literally in Warrington's backyard. It's in Leeds. This is where he grew up. This is where he was born. But I'm going to kind of calm people down with that, because let's remember we just had that Josh Taylor fight with Jack Catterall, and the British Board of Control actually downgraded one of the judges. They were even getting the police involved with that bad decision. So because there's so much heat on the British Board of Control, because there's so much controversy right now with the judges, with even Dillian Whyte and Tyson Fury's fight, there's no British judges allowed. With all the pressure and the spotlight on these judges, I don't think they're going to screw up this time, right? They don't want to have more negative publicity on them, so they're going to be on their P's and Q's here. And another thing, I believe this fight may not even go the distance, so we may not even need these judges, right? There's an old saying, you're only as good as your last fight. Kiko Martinez set the world on fire, as you said. But Josh Warrington, those two fights with Mauricio Lara has not looked impressive at all, right? Now, when I look at Josh Warrington, and I mean this with all due respect to Josh Warrington and the fighter I'm also going to compare him to me, he's like a poor man's Amir Khan, right? Both guys, they like to move in and out, throw flurries, and then they go back out, reset, and go back in. Like they have that ambush type style, right? They're not great inside fighters. When you get in their chest, they tend to freeze sometimes. And when they hold, it's like a desperation hold. It's not that controlling clinch where they grab you, walk you back, and muscle you, try to freeze the action. This is a desperation type hold. Look over to the referee. Hey, man, can you help me out here? Martinez is looked at as just a plotter that comes forward, but there's much more to that, in my opinion, with Martinez. He's a guy who really changes levels. When he comes in, he's jabbing, but he's crouching, and he's jabbing low. He'll come up, jab high, and you have to time that crouch. So you don't know at what point he's going to throw that punch. Is he going to throw it when he's down here? Is he going to throw it when he's up here? So he's very, very hard to pin down when he's coming in, and he's moving his head and changing levels at the same time as he's moving in. And if you looked at the first fight back in 2017, Warrington had a hard time keeping him on the outside, and Martinez was able to get in his chest. And when Martinez did get in Warrington's chest, he did some really good work to the body, right? And again, changing levels, body, pop up, and throw that short hook up close. So that's the thing. When you got a fighter who can fight out of a crouch, right? You have to time, when he's going to spring out of that crouch and from what level he's going to throw that punch at. And also you have to deal with the head movement. And it's not that pendulum type head movement that some fighters do where they swing their whole body. This is subtle, short little head movement like this. It's not very exaggerated or accentuated. So I think as the fight wears on, we see Warrington get out to a great start in a lot of his fights. But there's been a pattern. In this first fight with Kiko Martinez, faded late down the stretch. Same thing with Kid Galahad, faded late down the stretch. You can argue him in that fight. He lost either 5 of the last 6 rounds or 4 of the last 6 rounds. Same thing against Martinez and the same thing against Lara. You saw as the pressure mounts against him, when guys get in his chest, he's very uncomfortable and it kind of upsets the apple cart for him, right? Martinez is that guy, throws a lot of punches, right? Puts on a lot of pressure, but it's that intelligent, cagey, smart pressure. It's not just that lumbering forward, throw the spaghetti up against the wall to see if it sticks. This is a cerebral guy who really knows how to create openings. And when he does get inside, he is a fluid combination puncher up close. And what I see in this fight is somewhat similar to the first fight where Warrington had some good moments early on, but as the fight wore on, the body attack really started to slow him down. And not only that mental pressure of having this guy in your chest all night and you can't keep him out of that pocket, deep in that pocket. I don't have room to breathe. I don't have space to punch. What am I going to do, right? So you could argue that first fight could have been a draw or it could have been 7-5 either way. It was a razor close fight. I actually had Martinez edging it, but 116 and 112 on 2 of the cards and 114 and 114 on 1 card with Warrington getting the majority decision. It was a close fight. Could have gone either way. And you could argue if it was in any place but England, Martinez could have gotten the nod here. But as I said, I don't think this fight is going to go the distance, right? Warrington has shown to be a little bit less durable than we thought. There seems to be chinks in the armor. When a fighter continues to suffer, tough, rugged fights, it's like chipping away at that stone. There's not much left to that stone, right? We could be in a situation right now where Warrington may have hit that wall in those 2 Lara fights, and he may be on the downside. And Martinez, with that great performance in that last fight, he's riding high, right? He's riding the wave right now, right? So I just think that Martinez has the momentum, and Warrington has the momentum going in the other direction, where Martinez has that momentum going up. Warrington has that momentum going down, right? So I think Martinez is going to wear Warrington down, and I think he's going to get a late stoppage in this fight, possibly in around 9 or 10 rounds. And it's very interesting here, because if you go with Martinez straight up, he's like a plus 260, right? But if you go with him by knockout, he's I think a plus 300. So you're not getting much more to bet him with the knockout proposition. So my recommendation is to just bet him straight up with the plus 260. And Warrington is a minus 350 here, right? So let's play it conservative, because I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that he could get a decision. And like I said, I'm not too worried about the judges, because I don't think they're going to screw up this time again with all of this attention. The spotlight's going to be on them to get this one right? We already talked about all the controversy that's been happening lately with British judges, right? And I think that the judges, if this does go the distance, will get it right. But I just think Kiko Martinez is really hot right now, and Warrington isn't. So that's why I think that we're just going to take the 260, and we're going to go with Kiko Martinez here. We're going to go with Kiko Martinez here. And I think we have value. This is definitely the pick of the week. Martinez is very live here. And let's take a look at some of these other odds, because Martinez by decision is a plus 1,800, right? Now, Warrington by decision is a minus 130. So the odds are that the odds makers are telling us or suggesting that Warrington's gonna win this decision here. And they're saying to us that the only way Martinez can win is by knockout, right? We'll see. But I do think that Martinez will get the knockout here. I think that Warrington, like I said, has those chinks in the armor. The stone has been chipped away at, and this just may be that fight where that stone crumbles, in my opinion.
Absolutely. So Martinez by decision plus 1,800, Joe, seems to be the smart way to go if you're going to bet on this fight. I think it's very interesting because when you look at just the records of the two guys, right? You look at Josh Warrington, he's 31 years old, he's 30-1, right? And then you look at Kiko Martinez, he's 36 years old, he's 43-10-2, and you're like, wait a second, this is just an overmatched guy in Kiko Martinez. It's going to be a blowout. I mean, come on, he's a 36-year-old featherweight out of Spain with 10 losses on his record. He's taking on a guy in his hometown who's 30-1. But you know what's interesting to me, Joe? When you look underneath the numbers. And when you look underneath the numbers, you see that Kiko's losses have pretty much only been to the very elite guys. If you look underneath the numbers, you see that he's taken fights in people's hometowns, oftentimes on shorter notice earlier on in his career. But he's always given a good account of himself. And out of those 43 wins, 30 are by knockout. And he had, for me, the knockout of the year last year. And I know there were a lot of good candidates for that, but the way he floored Galahad coming from behind in Galahad's hometown, absolutely knocking him out for us, again, a title at this stage in his career, making him a two-time world champion. It was an incredible win, and the way he got it so emphatically was very dramatic. Now, when you look at beneath the numbers of Warrington, what you see, Joe, is yes, he's got 30 wins, but he only has 7 KOs. Is that the power that's going to be putting Kiko on his heels? I don't think so. Is that the power that's going to stop an unrelenting fighter in Kiko, a guy who didn't give up against Galahad, a guy who, you know, Joe, is a very sharp puncher in Kid Galahad. Look, I see 30 wins with 7 KOs, and I see that as a sign that Kiko's going to be able to be on the offensive and be on the attack and throw punches and combinations and not be deterred. And the other side of that, in the other column there, you've got one loss, but it was against a pressure fighter who can punch, who didn't give up. And he got beat up systematically over many rounds and eventually got TKO'd. So again, when you look beneath the numbers, it's kind of like looking under the hood of a car, right, Joe? When you go to the used car lot, you know, it may have a nice paint job, but you start to look under there and you start to see things that maybe you didn't see at first look.
Well, just to add to your point, you know, Warrington has underachieved in big fights where Martinez has overachieved, right? And we talked about the craftiness, the caginess of Martinez moving forward, changing levels, subtle head movement, really hard to stop. But not only that, when you mentioned the lack of punching power of Warrington, that's another caveat, because if you can't stop this guy in his tracks, he's just going to keep coming forward, keep applying pressure, right? And he's going to wear you down. So I know you like that plus 1,800 with Martinez by decision, but the way I'm saying it, like we cover at both ends, just take the plus 260, right? If you want to straddle that plus 1,800, why not? You could just put a little tickle on that because it's such large odds. So taking the plus 260 just for the straight win, you want to put a little sprinkle on that with the the plus 1,800. But it's crazy because just the odds are almost identical with Martinez by knockout. Like it's plus 300, and for him to win by knockout, and it's a plus 260 for him to just win straight up. Very rare you see odds like that. So they're giving him no shot to win by decision. But like I said, and I'm going to keep hammering this point home. A magnifying glass is going to be on these judges. I just don't think they're going to score up this time. I just don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. And if you want put a little tickle, sprinkle a little bit on that 1800. Why not? Why not put a little sprinkle on that? Because that's a huge, huge gain. A huge gain. So, like I said, I'm just going to take the 260, right? You want to sprinkle the 1800, that's fine. That's a nice little straddle you could have, right? But the pick for beating the odds of Beeb this week is going to be Martínez straight win plus 260.
Well, there you go. It's up there right on the screen. Martínez straight win 160. If you head over to the description box, you'll see the offers that are available to you. You can get a $150 bonus bet if you haven't signed up for FanDuel yet. There are a bunch of offers available. And by the way, we'll give you a referral code, because if we refer you, you'll get an extra $50 into your FanDuel account. So Martínez plus 260 for the win. You heard it here from Beeb, most importantly, and from me, Maestro. That's going to be it for this edition of Beating the Odds. We've got the FanDuel pick of the week. You've got it right there. So if you want to get that bet in, go do it before the action starts tonight. Enjoy a great rest of your weekend, a great night of boxing. That will be it. We are out of here.